Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started then? What we'll do is initially we'll go through and give the applicants a chance to give any updates, talk a little bit about their project. We don't necessarily need to hear everything that's put into the application, only because we have already read through those. So if you could add anything or some detailed information, and then we'll open it up to a couple of questions if any of the committee members have questions. So we will start, and I guess we normally go by the first one that signed in. Who was the first one on? Who wants to go first?
Well, let me see. Leanne was the first one signed in.
Okay, Leanne, would you like to go first?
Hi, Les.
Hi.
Last time I said I would never see you guys again, and here I am again. So,
Helen is going to retire, so.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. So we are asking for more assistance to help our residents with rent, utilities, internet bills, phone, car payments, whatever they need to get over this hump. So I think the application, as Tucker had said, is pretty self-explanatory. I know that people may question why we're asking to fund a position for that. We are doing a ton of other work. We're running food pantries and food collections and doing vaccination clinics and getting other funding and getting people on the internet. And there's just so much else to do besides all the other work that we've done. And we were lucky enough to get an intern to help us when COVID first started. And she is exceptional. She is very well trained up. She is a consummate professional. She knows what she's doing. She's also an MSW, so she's highly qualified. So we would love to be able to find a way to keep her, to retain that consistency of help through the next portion of the money that we get for CDBG. Those numbers can be wiggled. We can reduce salary, we can reduce hours, but to expect all of this work to be done without any help is kind of challenging for us. Just by way of numbers, we have received over 813 applications since this started. We have processed a lot of those, but we do still have people waiting to get answers, and there's only so many cases you can do at one time. So that we also have to circle back to people because, as you know, the utility payments couldn't be paid and now they can be paid. So we're kind of backtracking a little bit and doing that. So just to make people whole on their utility bills that they requested, we will have to use about $50,000 of any grant money you give us to address that. So I know I asked for a very, very large sum of money, but this goes directly to landlords, to our utility company, to people that are owed money because of no fault of their own. Our residents have found themselves very much in debt. So I'll stop there and answer any questions that you have.
Okay, questions?
Let's just Dr. Braddock with one question,
Okay.
Quick question. That $50,000 that makes everybody whole, that goes back to utilities, and does the city benefit from that again?
Of course, because the utility company pays 10% to the general fund to help, so that the city does benefit from that. And I'm sure you got the memos from Kathy, but all the depreciation is taken out of that. This is direct client expenditure that we're paying on. We're not paying on, building and repair money when we give the utility company. So it will be a total of $83,000 that the utility company gets. We've already given them $33,000. Some of that was from CDBG, but almost $7,500 was from a different grant that we got, just to try to give them something to, they have so many customers in arrearage. And then on top of that, we gave them $15,000 in EFSP spending money that we had been awarded to. So, it's really landlords and utility companies, utility bills that are the two things we're asked the most to help out on. And we've been tracking the landlords too to see if they are paying their taxes, and they are. The tax revenues for the city of Norwich have been very, very good. And I think a small part of that, I don't want to over exaggerate, but a small part of that is us being able to give landlords up to 3 months of rent for tenants that are behind. Help.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple of questions. On your outreach, how, there's not one type of communication that reaches everybody, whether a newspaper or a radio or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you try to cast a wide net so that everybody knows that this is available?
Yeah, Les, I hope you saw it, but I did contact the president of the Property Owners Association, and I sent him our application. I had talked to Sophie and she referred me to him. I sent him our application and a blurb. I also sent him the information on the state's rental assistance program so that he would have that, and hopefully that got out. Landlords call us all the time and we send them packets and get them information. I have a huge email server list that touches every human service agency in town. So even if somebody goes, you know, to the Salvation Army for something, that agency knows what we have. We share our resources very well in Norwich. We are trying to cast a large net. Certainly the utility company knows what we have. So if a landlord goes in there and, you know, is sad that they can't pay their utility bill, the utility company would refer them. But we're trying to cast a very, very large net.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I know it's hard to communicate with everybody.
Yeah.
Does the utility company offer to put something in their newsletter on this?
No, but that's an awesome idea, and I can make sure that happens very quickly.
Yeah, that may help a little bit because
Okay.
that reaches the right people right where it counts.
Yeah, we are seeing a different demographic too. A lot of the people that have come to us have never in their lives applied for human services assistance before, and that's good to see that we're able to help them. The companies, you know, Mash and Tuckett, we certainly reached out to. Mohegan Sun, we certainly reached out to. We did, you know, contact a lot of the employers who were laying off.
Okay. One other, just a quick question on how you distribute the money. It's sort of a first come, first serve based upon need. Is that correct? It's not like you're taking a pool of money and finding out the ones that need it worse.
Right.
First
Right.
come, first serve.
Right, but one of the things that I don't want to call her an intern anymore because she graduated, she's my part-time employee person. One of the things that she was charged with doing was looking at all the different programs and figuring out who fit where. So if you qualified for a different program and not CDBG, we would obviously funnel you to that program first. And we would, you know, for example, people who are not documented don't qualify for CDBG. So we had gotten a grant from Community Foundation. So we funneled people there. People that were eligible for EFSP, we funneled them there. So we would preserve the CDBG dollars for people who only qualified for CDBG. So we're doing a lot of triage and pointing people to different programs and resources. It was good to see the state's THRAP finally kicked in, and we saw some people getting funding there. And, you know, we have the affidavit process, so we have to ask, you know, have you gotten money from other programs? So we really tried to be prudent with who we gave the CDBG funds to. We had started off only doing 1 month's rent, and then Kathy reminded us we could do 6 months, but we've only gone up to 3 months as a max, 3 contiguous months. So we're really trying to get people back to zero and get people whole. And then also looking at what their ability to pay rent is too, right? So if someone was laid off and they're behind a month, but now they have a great job and they're back, you know, we wouldn't pay 3 months for them. We would pay the month that they missed. So it's a lot of case management. And that's what I mean by it's a lot of work to look at each of these. It's a long process. There's a lot of documentation. There's a lot of outreach and social work that goes on, and then ultimately a payment.
Okay, how about double dipping, so to speak? The first group of money that was in, and now this group is, again, they can come back or
But we have a process, and before, and I'm very adamant about this, and we have double checks in our office. So before we cut a check or approve somebody, you have to check the spreadsheet to see, did we give them money before? Because the 3 months rent, if we're paying, it has to be contiguous, right? So if we already paid 2 months rent for you and then you paid 2 months rent and then you come back for another month, we can't use CDBG for that. So we're checking the spreadsheet on who we've already paid. There's a lot of stop gaps there, and there's a lot of checks that we have the workers, it's actually on a sheet that they have to check off before they give it to me for payment, for me to sign off on paying it. They have to check to make sure we have the affidavit. They have to check to make sure that, you know, the person, if they are asking for utilities, that they've applied for energy assistance. You know, we're just really kind of going through and making sure. And then we have a whole resource packet too. So not only do we give them that application, but we give them this other resource packet that has other rental assistance programs. It has food pantries, it has internet help, so that, again, you know, we want you to concentrate your money on certain things. And if we have a grant for certain other things in your budget, we want to point you towards that.
This is Tucker Braddock. One quick question, if Les is all done.
Yeah, go ahead, Tucker.
Thanks. Leanne, of this money, or do you support, are you contributing in any way back to United Way of Southeastern Connecticut?
No,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I couldn't do that. I would be precluded from
Yeah.
doing that.
Right. Okay.
I love
Thank you,
Scott.
Leanne.
I see Scott on the phone. I love Scott, and we work together very well. But I can't give you any of my money, Scott.
Okay. Okay, are there any other questions for Leanne? Okay,
No.
thank you very much, Leanne.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
All right, Les. The second person on the call was the Housing Authority. That's Jeff Arn and John Mainville.
Hi, everybody.
Can I just say one thing to TN? Kathy, was TN ever to put up the little chart?
Yes, yes.
Gave it to everybody?
No, we're going to share it on the screen.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, thank you for considering our application. Wasn't really thinking we were going to have time for a presentation, but we are renovating our offices and adding on to them in order to make them COVID safe. We're adding security to the front area in our lobby, putting up glass dividers to separate our staff from the public coming in. We're adding some interview areas with glass partitions with separate entrances, as you can see in phase one, that in order to keep our staff and the incoming public separate, but yet meet in the same room. We're also adding 3 offices so that all of our staff can have separate offices and not have to share spaces to keep it COVID safe. That, for the most part, is what the plan entails. There's also a additional restroom being added on for the public, so that is separate from the office staff. And, we started this project to the design concept actually before COVID hit us, but because we were running out of space here. But when COVID hit and we received some of our own funding from the CARES Act, we decided to make this more of a COVID-friendly office area and using the COVID money towards that, which is an eligible expense through the CARES Act. So that's where we stand right now. We've already bid the job. We have federal money, so it follows the same rules that you guys require of us. We actually have started the work, and we're probably 15% done with it. That's where we stand right now. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if John wants to add anything.
Yeah, can I just add that phase one is the priority. Depending on monies available, phase two will or will not go off right away. We like to do it, the whole thing, just to make it safe. One other thing Jeff didn't mention was we are putting a fresh air circulation system in to keep the air moving, which is something that's recommended in these times. So we'll be happy to take some questions.
This is Tucker Braddock, and I have one question. I may have
Okay.
other questions. My first question is, when a client comes to your facility, what is the amount of time that actually takes to solve their particular problem?
That can vary. It can be as simple as someone coming in to pay their rent, takes a
Sure.
few minutes. And then someone coming in with an application can take, half hour. Somebody coming in
Okay.
to sign a lease can take an hour. So depending on what the service we're providing, it can vary considerably. But anywhere, like I said, from a couple minutes to an hour, hour and a half, they can be here.
Just
Okay,
one thing,
and
excuse me, just one thing to add to that is research.
I didn't hear any of it.
Just one thing to add, every year the tenants have to come in to recertify with the property managers. So
Okay, I heard that.
that can take a lot of extra time.
Thank you. This is a $689 million, $680,000 budget working from. You say you have 15% of your work done?
Approximately, yes.
I have a question for you folks.
Yeah.
Currently our request exceeds our budget by about $90,000. I've looked at every application, and every application is really very necessary for the community, as I see it. And so, but I still have to make a recommendation to trim back some of the budget. But, so my question is that, and it's an observation as well as a question, there's another round of COVID monies that's probably going to come out within the next short time, depending upon what happens in Congress. So if we don't give you all $150,000, does that stall your project at all?
I think it'll limit what we can get done in phase two, like John mentioned earlier. We'll probably have to remove the public lavatory and continue to share one of the lavatories with the public, which can be a health concern if they're not cleaning properly after they use the facility like we do. Other than that, probably, John, I don't know, we've run into some asbestos issues and some
Yes.
underground issues, so
Yeah, that increased the project a little bit as we're going along. That's why we're only 15% done. We found some environmental issues. We had to move some utility lines and overhead lines. So that kind of slowed up in the beginning. But what will happen is, like Jeff said, the bathroom probably wouldn't get done. A lot of the office and yellow wouldn't get done, and we probably wouldn't be able to go with the fresh air system in the yellow just yet.
So if we're sitting here again in 2 to 3 months,
Right.
could potentially happen, would you be able to continue on phase two?
Yeah, if it's, I would say 2 months, at the utmost 3, because the contractor that's doing the job, we'd have to rebid this again.
Yeah, exactly.
We just can't put this on a change order, which would increase the cost and so.
So this is Kathy. I'd like to get in here. I did ask for a breakdown of exactly what CDBG funds would be spent for. And John was kind enough to give me this, saying that essentially phase one, but there are some things in phase one from a CDBG standpoint that we would have an issue with funding. You talk about another bathroom. Well, another bathroom is nice to have, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary because of COVID. Having people not be 6 feet away from each other is necessary. Having places that people can work that are, you know, physically separated are necessary. Security, while it's great to have, is not COVID related. So there are components of this that would be very difficult for us to fund.
Okay, I believe that there's more than the 150,000 we're asking for that would be COVID related. In fact, you know, in many ways, it all ties into COVID, especially the phase one, where we're separating the offices and making more office space.
Right.
And the other main thing is,
Plexiglass and all of that.
and the other main thing is, this is going to allow us to open back up to the public and better serve our clients. Right now, we have the doors locked, and people have to knock on the door, and you know, we're talking through a window, trying to help people. This is actually going to give us the means to, you know, separate them, still invite them in, and be able to talk to them and keep everyone safe.
Right.
Well, going back to the last question, it won't stop us from finishing the project. It'll slow us down, and it will reduce what we can do if you don't fully fund us. But we understand. I hate going up against Leanne. She's always, you know, as we have similar clients. A lot of her people live in our properties, so I understand. We want to help as many people as possible as well. So, you know, we're happy to take what you guys think we deserve or think you can give us. If it's not everything we asked for, we won't be happy, but we'll understand, you know.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, it's a legitimate question because we also have budget constraint.
Yep.
And there's everybody's in need.
No question. No question.
So
So
we're thankful you're considering us to begin with.
So this is Gemma. If I may, I have just a couple of questions. So with regards to what Kathy was just mentioning, would it be possible then for you to be able to work with Kathy, for example, to go ahead and then resubmit an application that only entails eligible costs so that it could then slide through under CDBG if so? That would be extracting anything that would be ineligible, for example, the bathroom and whatever else she deems not appropriate for CDBG funding and specifically for COVID-related activities. So I guess that would be the first part of my question. And the second one is, I know that there's a lot of public interface in what you do, and a lot of it seems very necessary. But even with doctors' offices, where they are doing televisits and whatnot, I'm curious, what type of actions have you tried to employ to make telecommuting or just reaching out to the public and continuing to conduct business via a different sort of system that is a virtual platform with the public? Again, like doctor's offices, which one would say, you know, you have to be there and see the patient up close right there. I would imagine that, you know, even though they were able to, you know, extract themselves and still perform their duties and make things virtual, what kind of steps have you taken to accommodate the pandemic and the people at the same time?
We have the capability of performing a lot of the interviews and such via teleconference or video conference. Our clientele, a lot of our seniors and or disabled are not always able to handle those situations and have the technology available to them. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. As far as telecommuting with our staff, we have hard files that we deal with, and we're not allowed to take them out of the building. We have to keep them secure and locked, so we can't take those home with us and let people work from home. So we have never actually shut our doors and stopped working because of that. So we've been in this office since COVID hit. We had a brief period of time where we split shifts and had people coming in every other day. But once we received the directives from the governor on work safe practices, we've had everyone in the office every day. So we really can't, for the most part, telecommute. We can do some of our business. We've had some hearings via video conference with our attorney and with clients, but for the most part, we have to be here. Our maintenance staff has to be here for sure. We still go into apartments. You know, we wear our protective gear and we still fix issues in people's apartments. So we really have to be here. I wish I could have my staff at home and not have to come in, but it just doesn't work for us.
Is that a security, a privacy act? That you can get that work at home?
Yeah, well, bringing the physical files out of the office and having staff bring them home, which they need to work from, we're not allowed to do that.
No. HUD doesn't allow you to take home client files.
Okay.
Thank you. That was very clear. That was very helpful. I appreciate it.
And if you want to, I can give you a story about being diagnosed incorrectly over a video conference from my doctor, but that's for another time.
Oh, no doubt.
How many client visits do you have to the office on a monthly basis?
That can vary depending on if it's recertification time, but we probably can see easily 100 clients a week when we're busy, and even more when it's, rents are coming in and things.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that's pretty,
Sorry.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions for the Housing Authority?
Not from me,
Okay.
Tucker.
I guess
Okay.
just a last follow-up again, in terms of your ability to be able to go ahead and extract those ineligible items and work with Kathy on that, and how long would that be, the turnaround time?
I mean, as far as stuff with Kathy, if we can talk tomorrow, Kathy, and you need a better breakdown from us, well,
Sure.
we can work with you. Whatever you need from us, we'll get it for you.
No
For sure.
problem. You guys are great.
We do spend it quickly for you.
You do. I have no complaints.
So yeah, Kathy, whatever you need from us, we're happy to provide.
Okay. Okay. So that's the Housing Authority, and who was next?
I think the next one in was United Way.
United Way. Okay. United
Thank you all.
Way.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
myself, Scott. I am on
Okay.
earbuds today. Can you all hear me all right?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Scott Humble. I represent the United Way, and we are representing specifically the Gemmy Moran United Way Labor Food Center. We're located the warehouse itself is located in New London. However, it serves all of New London County. And for this specific grant, we're only focusing on agencies in and working with Norwich only. So for this piece, we're working on behalf of 12 agencies, 14 programs that are in Norwich. They have a footprint in Norwich, and they primarily serve Norwich folks. This is focusing on a bulk purchase of food, and that's one of the biggest challenges right now. I'm sure this isn't a surprise, like some of the other things, including Leanne's sharing some of the statistics earlier. Food insecurity rates since pandemic has begun has increased dramatically. Just looking at the numbers here, just under 12% was our food insecurity rate in Norwich, meaning those that were struggling to have a daily food within the next 24 hours, 48 hours, they're struggling to have a full meal for their family. That changed from 11.8 to 16%. For children, it changed from 16.8 to 24.9%. So a quarter of Norwich children are food insecure at this point. The challenge, though, for these 12 agencies, 14 programs in Norwich is sourcing food beyond their typical resources. Because the demand has increased, it doesn't necessarily mean the food drives have increased. In fact, most of the food drives have dried up. Our own warehouse is providing food, and we're working hard to still maintain our flow of food into the region. However, the demand is more than typical. Some of these agencies typically purchase local foods and fresh produce and other things like that. Right now, that's really challenging to source, especially in an affordable way. Food costs have gone up considerably, and it's also difficult to buy food, especially when you're a single agency purchasing a small amount. Instead, the United Way Food Labor Center can come in and bulk purchase, and our proposal is to be able to bulk purchase over a short period of time, $75,000 in food products for the region. And because we have a large warehouse, we can receive multiple truckloads, 22 pallets at a time on these big trucks, and bring them in inventory and safely warehouse in our facilities, and then release those foods when those agencies are ready and able to take them, because they can't take huge amounts of food all at once. So we can store it all in our facilities and make it available through an online simple ordering system that already exists. We're already relationships and set with these agencies and make them available to our region. Those $75,000 equal about 80,000 pounds in food, or just shy of 100,000 meals, which sounds like huge numbers, but when you break that down, there's 21 meals a week, or sorry, 21 meals a week for a household of 4. That adds up really quickly. So that's the big focus for this grant here. Be able to purchase in bulk, receive in bulk inventory, and then distribute to those agencies. And just to make clear, we're using and retaining no fees outside of this. This is 100% purchase of all funds. It's fairly simple otherwise.
Okay. Questions? Sounds like no questions. This is a little off subject, but it still pertains to that. Your mobile units, are they still running?
So we've been using and distributing the USDA farm to family boxes, if you've seen some of that. We're actually just about to start round 5 in the next few weeks. So our mobiles have been reoriented to be distributing those food boxes, because those are at times 2,400 food boxes a week right now.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I just heard that you reshuffled a little bit on that, so.
Yeah, our traditional mobiles that we've been running for a while, those stopped last April while we were still trying to reassess how we do it safely in the COVID space, because typically that is very hand-to-hand. We're going to be distributing this next round of food boxes, and then we're also preparing right now to do a new version of our mobile system that we'll be sharing shortly.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you. Any other questions? United Way.
The children, this is Tucker Braddock speaking. The children that are in our school systems now, they receive meals through the school system for that, in that time frame that they are there?
Yes, correct.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay, I'm missing something here. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, anybody else have any questions for United Way? Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you, thank you. Keep up the good
Thank you,
work.
Scott.
Doing good. Okay, and the next one on the list is probably the ARC, is that
It's
correct?
Penny.
Okay. Welcome back. Where are you at? There you are. Yeah, go ahead, Penny. Are you? I think you're muted.
I
There
was
we go.
trying to unmute. I did it. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Thanks. First, I want to thank you all for this opportunity and for the previous CDBG grant. And that's been an enormous help to us. I don't want to repeat everything that was in our application, but we have still been serving about 690 people with IDD throughout the area, and there are about 150 in the Norwich area that we're still serving. Now, when the Department of Developmental Services had, excuse me, I have a cat on my lap. The Department of Developmental Services has curtailed our ability to do day services, and we're now back at 30% capacity. But within the first phase after March of COVID, we did a lot of reconfiguration of the office space on Sachem Street, so that when our folks did return, everything would be very clean, safe, socially distant. We did a massive amount of ductwork cleaning and installed some, and recently we got some, with a grant from the Department of Developmental Services, an additional grant, we put some alternative, some adaptive technology into some of our group homes. So we've had, but the majority of the money that we've spent on COVID-related items has had to do with PPE and associated items. And I think that I had mentioned in the first 4 months of the pandemic, the ARC spent about $120,000 on PPE alone because of the need for both our staff and the people we support to have complete change of everything, including the N95 mask, gown, gloves, at every participant contact. And since in our 22 group homes, we have a round-the-clock shift of staff, and people having lots of participant contact all the time for a variety of assistive needs, that's a lot of stuff. For right now, we are hoping to have enough PPE for the next 6 months, and that's one of the things that we're asking for with this particular round from the CDBG funds. Also, we would like to have a fob system so that the folks we really have limited access into our buildings, other than people who are picking up stuff for the group home staff or people who have made an appointment. And so in order to have more seamless entrance into the building, without hands-free and stuff, we wanted to have this system in place at the Sachem Street offices. But the majority of the money that we're asking for is additional PPE. We go through a lot of it. And we've gotten funds from the Community Foundation for it, and that's helped a whole lot. And that's what we need. We still do our in-home support.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Penny.
No?
Yep.
Yeah, can you back up a little bit? And we missed out your last couple of sentences.
Can you hear me now?
Faintly.
Vaguely? I'm screaming.
No, we got you.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Let's see, where was it? Okay, so we have a program, in-home supports program, which is for people living in the community and either alone or with families. And our staff are still doing in-person supports and staying with the families from 2 to 6 hours a day, depending on their level of need. And so we need a lot of PPE there as well. We're hoping that DDS will allow us to have more in-person programming at the Sachem Street office for our day program and for Community Life and Advocacy, which supports 147 people with IDD who come to Sachem Street to do their programming and then go out and do various activities in the community. Not right now. Also, we have a lot of protocols in place for transportation, how many people we can have in the vans. And so that adds it up too. So that's what our request is basically for.
Okay. Questions from the committee members?
No, I'm pretty clear. Thank you.
Yes, I actually have a quick question for Penny. Penny, this is Gemma. So my question is really, have you all, in terms of ARC, ever applied for FEMA public assistance funding?
FEMA?
FEMA public assistance funding?
No.
You're an eligible applicant? No.
We are. You mean for emergency management funding?
For FEMA PA funding, I'd like to know if you actually ever tried to, because you're a PNP, you should be an eligible PNP. And I was wondering if you know that, if you were actually through the state of Connecticut and going to the state of Connecticut public assistance manager, whether or not you've ever gone through them to see if you were ineligible.
I know we have not, because I have not, and I'm the one who does it, but thank you. I'll look that up.
Well, what I can do is I can get you then, I wanted to ask that first. I actually had a conversation after I reviewed your application earlier. I called them up and spoke with them. So Dana Conover runs public assistance for the state of Connecticut. And what I'd like to see is obviously, what you do is amazing, and I'd love to be able to, see you realize the maximum amount of funding that you possibly can. So, obviously, I would encourage you to continue on with CDBG and CARES Act funding, but also see if you could be an eligible applicant under the FEMA Public Assistance Program. You can work with Dana Conover. I can send you, or if you just send me, Kathy, is Penny's contact info in here?
We have it. We can send it to you, Gemma, if that's okay with Penny.
That's fine. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we can do that information exchange.
That'd be great. So then, Kathy will send me your info, Penny, and I'll put you directly in touch with Dana Conover. I know that under the current administration, a lot of public assistance funding rules have changed a bit, and they have become broader to cover additional expenses. And so it's quite possible that, a lot of what you are doing actually can be funded at 75-25 by this other program as well. And not for nothing, but that 25% that you'd be on the hook for could be matched with CDBG funding as well. That is an eligible match. So it's a way to combine grants and combine sources of grant funding for eligible, COVID-related costs.
Great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, super. So that wasn't so much really a question about it. Right.
Gemma, that's
Sorry?
that's a great find.
Okay, other questions? I just have one. The application, like the last application, really focuses in on your group homes. And out of the 22 group homes, that's what it appears you're asking for us to fund. Is that correct?
Not entirely. No, there are a lot of time. Well, there were a lot of times, and there will be a lot of times again when the weather warms up. That when the group homes, when residents wanted to visit with their families, they had to come to the ARC, to come to Sachem Street and do a visit, and with all PPE. So that was the only way that we could allow families to visit. It was tense and it was a challenge, but eventually everyone agreed to that, and it was for the safety of everyone. The other thing is that in our what I was talking about in our in-home supports program, and I'm sorry if I didn't put this in the application. The staff from in-home supports goes out and does in-person supports to 80 people in the community as well. They aren't in our group homes. They are living independently or with a roommate in the community.
Yeah. Okay. What my main concern there is out of the 22 group homes, there's only 3 actually in Norwich. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But out of all the group homes send their folks to Sachem Street to participate in day services, of which we are only at 30% capacity now, but we're hoping that it increases.
So how do you keep track of who are Norwich residents? Because this money can only go to help Norwich residents. It can't go to a regional group of people. It can only, we have to really do a metric on how many Norwich residents it's helping. We can't send it out or help in, even though you bring them here, this money cannot be used for them because they're not Norwich residents. Does that make sense?
Can that, I can get you that information. Can that include staff as well?
Yes.
Who are Norwich residents?
Yes, because they're providing the service. So yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you could get us that would be great, because I think we're sort of commingling too many things here, and part of the charter of this commission is to make sure that we provide assistance only to Norwich residents, because that's what the money is sent here to do. And the Community Development Office obviously does the tracking on that.
Right.
It's extremely important that we do that that we, even though it's a regional organization, we still need to just focus on what percentage is a Norwich resident that it's helping. And that's how the money's proportioned out. So, okay.
Les, that would be for the PPE, not for the upgrades to their facility. What was
Right. Not right. That's what I'm talking about is the residents that are being held through the PPE. And then the other, yeah, and then the
Well,
other, that's
So, to be clear, it would count on the fobs too, because there's a cost for those fobs, and we wouldn't be able to supply them to people outside of Norwich.
okay. Okay, so I guess we need a breakdown on that also then. So Penny, if we could get that, that would be great. How many office visits do you have a month or a week at the Sachem Street office about?
Now or normally?
Both.
Normally, there are about 220 visits a day. And
Okay.
now, 40?
40 a day now? Okay.
Yeah.
And that includes the clients and the staff, is that correct?
No. Oh, the first 220 is clients and the staff, because I knew that number. Right now, the staff visits per day are over 50.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you could get that over to Kathy and then, or to Ann, and then they can get it out to the committee members. We would really appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks.
Other questions? Okay, Penny, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
information. Okay, Kathy, I guess the application that was withdrawn, the money is going to stay, apparently is going to stay with community development with the health
No.
sector.
No.
What?
So just to provide some clarification on this, so let me give you an overview of what's happened here. Is that we were waiting on answers from HUD before we started putting together before we launched an economic development program from the money you gave us back at the first of the CV applications. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was going to be, we got the announcement from HUD, and then NCDC and the mayor met, and they thought that NCDC would be a good place to have those loans, or to have that money go out of. So what ended up happening was the council took the money that we had from that first round and then gave it to NCDC to administer. However, that was done pretty quickly, and I didn't have a lot of time to think about it. But afterwards, I contacted the city attorney because I was concerned, and I had let Jason know, God rest his soul, but I let Jason know that I was concerned if NCDC managed the money, then no one from the Foundry or on the NCDC board or staff would be able to apply for the money. So that was a significant concern. Then we had Jason's passing. Then the council gave the money back to my office, and we're going to be launching that program, I think, next week. So that's the money we have in play right now. However, I did not apply for additional money this round because NCDC did. So now when you take all that information together, I then contacted Devin at NCDC, who after Jason's passing was sort of doing some of the stuff, and he told me to pull the application. So we pulled the application. That's where we are to date.
So the original 200,000 from the first round, that's still going to be going out with the help of Sector. Is that still accurate?
That is me working with Sector. Yes, they're going to do the underwriting that HUD requires for us.
Okay. So as far as any business development funds or business type funds, we're not asking for any out of this amount of money at all?
Unfortunately, because NCDC applied, I did not apply. So now we have none. Now, if for any reason there's money left over after you do deliberations, I'll go back out for applications again, and then I would likely apply again. But applications were closed, so there was no way for me to do that. I have to
apply.
play by that same application deadline as everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's been,
And
yeah.
yeah, that's rough because that's our, you know, between the folks with rental assistance and food help and all of that, the next biggest one is obviously the businesses that are
Correct.
very, very quickly collapsing all around us right now
Yep,
because it's
and
been a
being
year.
able to help pay their utilities, which is the question we were waiting on. And for those of you who don't know, I'll just explain it as quickly as possible. Because Norwich Public Utilities, because we have Norwich Public Utilities and we don't have Eversource, HUD considered that to be double dipping for us to use community development block grants to pay Norwich Public Utilities. So they did not allow that. We are not unique in that. There are a lot of communities that have public utilities nationwide. So we all pushed back and we had our congressman involved and, you know, it was a big, big pushback on HUD to allow it. We finally got to the point in December, just a few weeks ago, wasn't it, Tian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops. We finally were allowed by HUD to make payments to Norwich Utilities minus any depreciation that would have been, anything that would have been paid with federal funds, any depreciation on those items. So,
Like to 10%.
yeah, it's been you know, we've been doing this for months and months and months. So that's where we are right now. That's why Leanne was finally able to pay some of the utilities for some of the customers. I would expect that that's going to continue to grow. You know, right now she has 50 customers that we can go back and pay with the additional funds. I'm sure there'll be more. I'm sure when we go out for the business program, we're also going to have a lot of businesses that need help with utilities and that need help with rental and mortgage payments. And that's really what we're going to be looking at paying. Again, kind of like Leanne's programs, 3 months.
Yeah. So if we
you
did
know.
go out for another round, how quickly could that happen?
If there's money left, you know, once you deliberate, if there's money left, I'll put it out on a quick turnaround, like 10 days.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And then as soon as we can meet, we'll just get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's
I
if
think-
there's money left. The only other thing we can do is wait to see if there's another tranche that comes through. And, you
Right.
know, I don't know if there will be.
Yeah.
Kathy,
Yeah.
what did- Kathy?
I think to hold out on something like that, I think,
Yeah.
you know, we shouldn't really try and say, well, we're going to speculate out and
Correct.
hold out for something. I think we
And
do
I'm
have to-
concerned, and the mayor and I spoke about it this morning because he thought that the NCDC application was still in play. And I said, no, they pulled it. So
When did they pull it, Kathy?
2 or 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks, probably.
Before Jason death?
And I asked, I'll be honest, I asked, do you want to keep the application in?
Yeah.
And the answer I got was no. So, because they can't, you know, it's,
Well, yeah,
obviously, you know, there's a
their
lot of stuff in
capacity
play.
is really diminished. Yeah,
They're
their
pretty-
capacity.
They're pretty stretched out right now and unable
Yeah.
to.
So, I mean,
make fun of-
I understand and
Okay.
respect that decision 100%. It just kind of left us in this position now where I don't have an application to present you for economic development funds.
Yeah, and that's an extremely important part of this recovery.
Right.
coming out of COVID. I think that's one of the, between that and helping with food and just stabilizing people. Those are the two most important pieces of this whole thing, the end user. So, okay, so at this point, we're going to be waiting on information from the Housing Authority and from ARC.
So I was hoping that we could schedule another meeting. Sean said that Tuesdays and Thursdays are better for him, but Mark said Thursdays are best for him. I'm at your will. I'll be here anytime you need me. So,
Yeah, well, okay, let's
but I'd like to get something set up and sooner better, because once I know if there's any money left, then I can put the application back out again and I can, put something together. But
yeah, absolutely.
Thursday the 11th.
Well,
Thursday the 11th.
Can we do it before that?
I would like to.
Next
Yeah,
week.
I would, I don't think we can do it this week because it'll take a little bit to get the information to you guys and get it to us so that we can to take a look at it, but maybe next week. What's
Fine by me.
February 4th.
February 4th?
Would be
February 4th. That's Thursday. How's everybody's calendar look there? For me, it looks good. Gemma, how's yours look?
Yep, I'm just looking at it. February 4th looks okay. The later the what? The later the better. Ideally, anytime.
Yeah, we've got a lot of feedback. Try that again, Gemma?
I know. I don't know why there is so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Yeah, anytime after 5 works best for me. If that's a
Anything after 5? Okay.
Right.
And I can be there at any time. And Mark, how's yours look on next Thursday?
And that would be fine for me.
Okay. And we can let Sean know, and I will Tan will send out an email to both Penny and to Jeff and John and let them know we need the information. I'm going to say by Friday of this week so that we can get it out to you and you have time to look it over.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. And it'll be digital, so you can just send it out to us
Correct.
by email.
Correct. So
Yeah,
Tina
that's
can send that out like ASAP so that they have it and they know that we're giving them a deadline. If we don't have the information by then, it's at the committee's will.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And so we'll plan on receiving the information, doing deliberations on the 4th. And what time? You want to meet at 5 o'clock? Does that meet? Because
Fine.
for everybody? Because it shouldn't take that long, but we
No.
want to make sure everybody's available to do it. So, okay, so 5 o'clock on the 4th of February, the 4th of February, Thursday.
February 4th.
Okay. And
Fine by me.
okay, great. Now, the well, never mind. I think I've got everything I need. The way the money's distributed, we can only give out what's asked for. And by
Right.
that I mean, if you asked for 200,000 and we had 225,000, we can't give you more than what you asked for. Is that correct?
It sort of depends, if the money, let's put it this way, if there was enough money left that it made sense to go back out, then I would say we'd have to go back out to a bid. If there was, if we had $800,000 and there was $15,000 left, then we might look and say, let's put it in this that we know we'll spend.
Yeah, okay. So there is that.
But typically, no, you should not do it as a rule.
Yeah, okay.
You keep on talking about money left over. Where are we talking money left over from? This tranche of funds?
No, it's just a hypothetical question. Just because they're like something like this where all of a sudden we've got a $200,000 application that fell off the table. If we did deliberations, it's just a hypothetical.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And, you know, I mean, and honestly, at that point, you know, I'd have to go back out for applications if that were the case. You know, when this one dropped out, if we didn't have enough applications, then I would have gone back out right away and, you know, and submitted one myself. But that's not what happened. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Quick question, Tucker, from Tucker Braddock. Kathy, the $200,000 it's going to be administered by sector,
no, it's administered by me, by my office.
by you, but that's just Norwich businesses that it's going to be going to.
Oh, only, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're almost done, except we did get minutes today at the beginning of the meeting because everybody was standing by. We didn't approve the minutes from the last meeting, so I would like to entertain a motion to, if somebody would like to
motion
make
to
a motion.
approve minutes.
Okay,
Second.
and do we have we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
heard Jenna. Emma.
I was looking for my mute, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so the minutes have been approved. I believe that's all the business we have for this meeting. Do you have anything else, Kathy or Tian?
No, really, that's about it. It's been a very confusing time here with everything that's happened. So, you know, we'll get through all this and, you know, hopefully, you know, move on and let's see how the business program does. I think it'll do very well.
So,
Yeah,
not
well,
Adjourn.
Kathy, but I'm gonna call Rob Buckley and give him a hard time.
Well,
Okay,
you know, I
Well,
think part of the problem is with that though, is that, you know, there was some confusion, I think, and who's in charge and all of that. So I don't even know if it actually knows that they're not doing it. So,
I like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay, motion has been on the table and seconded. Do we, all those in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
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 I don't get a vote, but.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. So we'll get back together next Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I